Okay, the January 6th pipe bomber has been arrested.
Early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021.
I got a lot to say about this, guys, because you're going to be played like a fiddle for the next couple of weeks, and it's all going to be around a pipe bomb. I'm going to explain to you why it's all just so fishy to me, so stupid and trivial. I believe the pipe bomb, I'll get to the conclusion. I believe the pipe bomb was just planted by a radical leftist ANTIFA activist, preferably to point all fingers at Trump and MAGA. It's not a real pipe bomb designed to blow off. That's my opinion. We'll have to get more news on it, but I'm going to show you all sides of this event and why it's actually trivia compared to real things that affect real elections that are going to get Trump impeached. It has nothing to do with this pipe bomb.
The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this was our internal work at the FBI.
This pipe bomb will do nothing for or against Trump. So I'm only putting it in a little box, but it's about to blow up across all of media as if it were a real pipe bomb. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Part of why we're happy is because I'm not here to scare you and terrify you and go big bag boogeyman. You know, the Democrat Party planted this fake pipe bomb, which I believe is fake, to scare you. And be scared. Boo, look at my click on my thumbnail. I'm not doing that to you guys. Stay sober, guys. Stay a patriot. I'm not afraid of Democrats. Democrats are ticks. Compared to Republicans, compared to normal patriots, voting, don't trans our children, men don't play in women's sports, lower our taxes, limit government, be normal, defend the family, quit killing the unborn. A man can't marry a man. That's normal common sense. Leave me and my family alone. Government. That's a winning case. Here's Andrew Colvin of Charlie Kirk's organization. He's now leading it, but he says breaking the pipe bomber suspect ID'd as Brian Cole. You're going to hear Brian Cole from Virginia. Per NBC, at least one outlet describes him as having ties to Antifa, which doesn't surprise me because Antifa are a tiny group of liar American anarchist terrorists. Anarchist means they don't believe in either party, but they will operate within the Democrat Party because the Democrats are so dumb that they're okay with Antifa because Antifa hates Trump. Here's Julie Kelly working on the reporting over on the Steve Bannon Show.
This is a huge development that, of course, your audience and all of us have been waiting for. This was an investigation that was very aggressively pursued early on under Chris Wray's FBI. And then we are told towards February, March of 2021, it just went away. And maybe we will find out exactly why, despite troves of evidence, interviews, pursuit of, what this individual on January 5th was wearing, trying to track down where those items were purchased.
We had video of this pipe bomber. Dan Bongino talked about it. Julie Kelly, of course, did great work on this because she is very much involved with all those J6 cases. And suddenly Christopher Wray abandons the issue right after Biden takes office. Suddenly there's no interest from the FBI with the pipe bomber. Well, now Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, who are doing great work, and anyone tells you different are liars, go back into the files, pick up the cold case trail, and they find the pipe bomber.
An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency.
All of a sudden, just went stone cold. As you know, Kash and Dan made this a priority. They have devoted new resources, new investigative tools to this cold case. And it appears a man from Virginia, NBC News is reporting his name as Brian Cole, could be tied to Antifa, another.
Yeah, he's tied. They're going to tie him to Antifa. There's no other motive for it. Okay, all the news, guys, I promise, it's coming. By the end, I'm going to give you my big conclusion on why I believe the pipe bomb is fake. Here's the FBI has surrounded the home in Woodbridge, Virginia, where alleged DC pipe bomber Brian Cole Jr. reportedly 33 years old now, was arrested this morning. Cole seemingly has very little online presence, as I would too if I was trying to hide for 4 years, and has been described as an anarchist. Anarchy, guys, that's what Antifa is. He's expected to be arraigned today. So here's all the footage of them around his house, all the black cars. They got this guy. You're going to find very little about him if he's an anarchist and he's Antifa. Here's John Solomon, the great one, over also on Steve Bannon's War Room.
Mentioned, I think it was just before Thanksgiving on your show, I thought there would be an arrest this week. They were zeroing in on a gentleman whom they arrested this morning in Northern Virginia. And the way this case was cracked was about a month or 6 weeks ago. Bongino, who was the lead on it, and Patel decided to take the old agents off the case and put a new team on it.
Democrat
There's a little resistance, as there always is in the FBI, to any form of change. But the new team came in. They applied some new ideas, some new technologies, and some of the evidence that was sitting right in front of them with fresh eyes was followed, and it was able to be led to this gentleman who they arrested a little bit ago. We don't know much about his ideology or his intentions or his motives yet. And one of the things that FBI officials stressed with me this morning is that this is really the beginning. The arrest is the beginning of trying to understand how this operation was conducted, who's behind it, whether there are more conspirators or whether this is a lone wolf. Still all of that to be determined.
Is this a lone wolf? So meanwhile, the internet is going to make up its own story and ram it down your throat for the next 2 weeks. I don't know what will blow up about this, but you're going to see all of the thumbnails. We do the little green circle around the blurry footage. This guy, look at the bomb, da-da-da. Meanwhile, I trust Dan Bongino and I trust Kash Patel when they interview this guy, and they're going to put lie detector tests on him and ask if it's a bigger conspiracy. Did you work with anyone else? Did anyone from the Democrat Party, like George Soros, funding Antifa, help you? Did they help you construct the bomb? Did they help you market the bomb so everyone knew about it? Or did you act alone? Were you just an anarchist? Anarchists will plant pipe bombs almost anywhere, guys. Okay, I'm going to get back to the pipe bomb in a minute, but I'm going to give you an example of real news that I think does actually affect elections, and that's from very serious people like Harmeet Dillon. Clean voter rolls is a civil rights priority of this administration, and I'm proud to lead the Justice Department's efforts. That's tweeted at Real Donald Trump. Here's Harmeet Dillon's Twitter. Glad to be part of the solution, Real Donald Trump, with leadership of AG Pam Bondi. The only people doing serious work to save this election, guys. I don't get why YouTube talent will not promote these people, will not give you this news. They are lying, distracting, with really bad tactics. This is the tactic. I'm going to prove it in a minute. Here's Trump's tweet. Great, our elections are crooked and rigged. The voters know it. Must bring integrity back to voting and start with voter ID. Okay, that's where Trump's agenda is. That's where my agenda is. Why? Here's breaking 911. Trouble for the GOP. Looking ahead to 2026 as it stands right now, it's projected that the Democrat Party will win the House. And guys, if they win the House, Trump's presidency is over. It's not over if, depending on what they do with this pipe bomb, find the guy, interrogate him, Scooby-Doo, Kamala Harris really paid for the whole thing, or George Soros did. I don't care. This I care. So keep your eye on the ball, guys. This is real. This is where we focus our efforts. This is where I promote my marketing of this channel, staying on topic. Which party will win the House in 2026? This is Polymarket, when people can bet their own money. That's how you know it's not politically influenced and it's not fake news. If I was going to tell you, put your own money, here's $100,000 to bet. Do you believe the Democrat Party will take the House or the Republican Party? And you want that $100,000 to pay you back, like double its value, right? Where would you bet it? That's what these people are. These aren't just Democrats betting and telling a pollster what they wish for. These are people, both Republicans and Democrats, betting their money, saying the Democrat Party has a 80 20% chance of taking the House in 2026, and Trump's career is over. And Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, RFK Jr. are going to be investigated up the yay. Trump will probably have to start issuing preemptive presidential pardons to anyone who's been anywhere near MAGA. Channels like mine can also be indicted by these Democrats for misinformation. Get ready for it, guys. And I'm not sure how YouTube's going to respond to these people this time, these Democrat anti-free speech vampires. It's coming. So only 21% of people are willing to put their money behind the Republican Party to win. Got it? Control of the House. That is real news. That should be across every YouTube video right now for MAGA. Out of thousands of channels, to my knowledge, mine's the only one that even covers that news. Here's John Thune on the Hill. John Thune says the GOP is facing headwinds after the special election in Tennessee. We are facing headwinds. We in MAGA. Now, back to that pipe bomb. I'm going to show you how it's all fake, why it's trivia. And so you guys can rest. Anyone trying to scare you is lying to you. Breaking: suspect arrested in the January 6th pipe bomb investigation has been identified as Brian Cole. This is some of the footage that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel have of him walking next to this famous trash can. I did show some of this footage back 3 years ago when Dan Bongino was talking about it, and then suddenly it fell out of the news cycle. So it's a cold case, and it was brought back up. Here's, I'm going to get back to more pipe bomb, but first I found this cool clip from Mike Davis on real issues facing the Trump administration.
Jeb Boasberg in 2023 with Jack Smith and Arctic Frost, who illegally gagged these telephone companies in violation of clear federal statute, which says that if you spy on a Senate office, you have to disclose that to the Senate.
How did they gag the phone companies? They told the phone companies, go spy on Ted Cruz, Marsha Blackburn, Lindsey Graham, but this is secret. So you have a non-disclosure agreement. You're not allowed to ever tell anyone that you allowed us to spy on them. That's what they were trying. That's part of the cover-up, is to claim secrecy. That's what Mike Davis is saying.
And Boasberg put in a gag order saying that Jack Smith can do this, and the telephone companies cannot alert the Senate in violation of federal statute. Jeb Boasberg is now leaking out through one of these court officials that, oh, no, I just didn't know that these were senators' phone numbers. Well, why the hell is he authorizing spying and gag orders if he doesn't know who they're spying on? If he does?
That's the argument. Mike Davis, our buddy, who says Pam Bondi is our greatest attorney general ever, and I'll follow it up with anyone who tells you different is lying. The people who know. But this argument he just made is fantastic. He just nailed Boasberg to the wall. What happened? Boasberg, who is trying to claim innocence, goes, I didn't know who the phone numbers were, but he greenlit the gag order to tell the phone companies, you can't tell the people, those who own those phone numbers, you can't tell them that we're spying on them. Mike Davis says, if he didn't know that they were senators, why did he agree to the phone tap? Why did they agree to it? Why did Boasberg agree to it if he didn't even know? He claims to not even know that he was just given a blank bunch of phone numbers. That could have been his own family. And he just said, I didn't know. I just greenlight spying on phone numbers and gag orders. I don't know who they are. He had to know that they were all Republican phone numbers. Let's keep going. More on the pipe bomb. Again, I give you some real news, which is Boasberg doing real damage. That guy has to go down. The pipe bomb is tabloid because it's about a pipe bomb, guys. Pipe bombs are fascinating. Here's FBI arrests Brian Cole, identified as the J6 pipe bomber after nearly 5 years. Kamala Harris, who is just 20 feet from the Democrat National Convention bomb, that's where one of them was placed, has said nothing. Why is Kamala Harris suddenly not interested in an alleged MAGA pipe bomb that was placed near Democrat headquarters? I'm going to show you how all of it's fake, very fishy. Why did Biden not pursue it? Why did Christopher Wray not pursue it? Because they knew it was so sloppy and stupid that it would point right back to them. No posts. The $17 million the J6 committee spent on the alleged insurrection, they're also silent. Odd, no? Why? I'll let you guys figure it out. Put the pieces together. Why did they not freak out over an alleged MAGA pipe bomb? Look, hoodie, mask, That's a Democrat Antifa outfit if I ever saw one. Now I'm going to get to my final conclusion on why this pipe bomb is so smells bad, fake, and stupid. Guys, everyone put your common sense hat on with me. I wear a common sense hat. I don't have insider information. I'm not a genius, but let me convince you of something. Number one, okay? I've worked enough in Hollywood to know what a prop looks like. This is a prop. This is not a real pipe bomb. This is not made to explode. It's made to look like it would explode. That is a pipe bomb that you make in central casting in Hollywood. It's what I would make if I wanted to prove to you that there's a pipe bomb. Look how obvious. Look at the pipe. Look at the big wires coming out of it. To an egg timer. See the white disc there on the left? That's an egg timer. This is hilarious, guys. You don't put an egg timer that you buy at Bed Bath & Beyond or Target. It's a Target egg timer. The guy's making a pipe bomb in sophisticated new. You could put together a digital output. You could put this thing in a shoebox to hide it so that someone wouldn't walk down the street. That bar there on the left, to the left of the pipe bomb, is a park bench. So is this what you would do with a pipe bomb? Is set it right next to a park bench in the open, advertising to everyone, look, it's a pipe bomb. Just think like a terrorist. Just think like a bad guy. You'd tape it to the bottom of the bench. You'd hide it in a shoebox or a hefty bag so that when people would just think it was a pile of trash. You wouldn't sit there and lay a pipe bomb out in the open, right next to a park bench. Whoever placed this and is doing marketing, it's similar to the guys that put together the noose and the guillotine and walked it around in front of J6, that they're trying to make it look like this is exactly the kind of stuff that MAGA does. And lo and behold, you find out Brian Cole. He's not MAGA. He's not conservative. He's not a Republican. In fact, I guarantee you he's anti-Israel. I guarantee you he's closer to a socialist, being an anarchist, Antifa who are violent and just want to disrupt and divide America. This will probably divide MAGA, of course. They'll probably end up using it, and half of us will go to a civil war against the other half of us to make sure that Trump loses, that we lose that 2026 election and get Trump impeached, thrown in prison, and Pete Hegseth on war crimes. That's what's at stake. That's why I'm getting on top of this story now, guys. This thing is fishy. This is marketing. I'm glad Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, who I trust, are bringing this Brian Cole in for questions, and they will give us the answer. They will tell you what this guy knows, why he did it this way. Why did you place a obvious pipe bomb? You didn't hide it. Why'd you put it out in the open? Why did you put an egg timer on it so it looked like a 1970s or 1971 bomb? Why? Why did you make it this way? We're going to find out. I'm only saying, guys, the internet's about to explode with this content. They're going to try to scare you. And I'm not as afraid as even if Kamala Harris's FBI paid for this thing, commissioned this thing. That's a conspiracy that I tend not to believe. But I'm saying even if they did that, that is not as dangerous as if the GOP loses the 2026 midterms. Keep your eye on the ball, guys. Keep your tactics on the ball. Let me know what you think down below. What will Dan Bongino find? Are you sober? Just write in the comments, I'm sober. SOBER. And I'm Doug in Exile. Subscribe.